Friends, sometimes what we hear and understand is not entirely true. You may have heard the words of many great souls, wise individuals, and spiritual teachers. They say that the world is filled with attachment and illusion. Our relationships, our wealth, our desires. Everything is just a web of illusion, and the true goal of life is liberation, freedom. We should strive towards a spiritual life. Whenever you listen to their words, a question arises in your mind, and that question is our worldly life meaningless? Should we only live a spiritual life? Should we seek ourselves? Should we not enjoy the pleasures of the world? Is the life of those who are caught up in this worldly existence completely futile? Some people want to earn money for their parents, while others want to see their families happy. Some are sad about their worries for their children, and others want to do something for themselves and gain recognition. Some want to make their girlfriend happy, while others want to win their boyfriend's love. Some aspire to become important figures, while others wish to rule. Some want to live a simple life. In this way, we all have different dreams and thoughts. Each of us needs something in our lives. However, when these wise individuals come before us, they twist and turn our dreams. When they say that worldly life is futile and that we should know ourselves, recognize ourselves, and walk the path of spirituality, various thoughts start arising in our minds. We struggle to understand whether we should live a worldly life or a spiritual one. What should we do? You must have experienced something similar at some point. Do you have such questions in your mind as well? If so, please let us know in the comments. Let's move forward and understand the reality behind this, and how we can find satisfaction in life amidst all this. How can we remain completely happy? Will we find joy by abandoning everything like a Buddhist monk? Do our relationships, our desire to earn money, our family ties, and our friendships not matter at all? Friends, the reality is that you are not fully understanding the words of these wise men, because they are trying to convey something different, and you are interpreting their words in another way. You are deriving a completely different meaning from their messages. Even Mahatma Buddha himself said that he did not favor poverty. He believed that in order to achieve success, it is essential to be financially capable. This means that as long as you are poor and lack financial resources, you cannot progress on the path of self-discovery. Conversely, wealth and prosperity can also become obstacles on your spiritual journey. Many great men and Buddhist teachers have spoken in very simple and straightforward language, yet we often misinterpret their words. We fail to grasp their true meaning because their teachings are quite different from everyday life. They try to convey one thing, but most of us take away something entirely different, and by applying this misinterpretation to our lives, we end up ruining our entire existence. Let's understand this through a story. Once upon a time, Mahatma Buddha was giving a sermon to the townspeople. He was saying, "Do not get caught in the web of worldly illusions. Rise above the material world. Only by rising above it can you truly live in it. Those who get trapped in the world, who do not use their wisdom, who do not perform good deeds on time and engage in wrongdoing, will face great sorrow in the future, as their own bad deeds will be the cause of their suffering. Therefore, you all should act carefully, being mindful of the worldly illusions like desire, greed, anger, etc." After saying this, Mahatma Buddha concluded his sermon and left. Among the audience was the wealthiest man of the town. Buddha's words deeply impacted him. He began to lose interest in worldly life and started distancing himself from it. Soon, everything he had once achieved seemed meaningless to him. Within just a few years, his entire business started to collapse. His family members were very concerned seeing him in this state, and whenever anyone tried to talk to him, the wealthy merchant would say only one thing: "This wealth and riches are all meaningless. They are just illusions. All of it is pointless. What good is maintaining relationships? It's all just worldly attachment. Life is only about one thing, and that is liberation. Now, that is my only hope, my only thirst. I understand now that from this moment on, whatever happens, will be for the better." From that moment, he completely stopped paying attention to his business, and soon, the wealthy merchant became the poorest man in the town. He had lost everything and was completely destitute. He had lost everything, and his entire family was out on the streets. One day, when there was nothing left to eat at home, he said to himself, "What have I done? Everything was going so well, but I ruined it all with my own hands. Today, every member of my family is hungry, they have nothing to eat, and I am unable to do anything for them." As he was thinking this, he remembered that it was because of following Mahatma Buddha's words that he had destroyed his life. He had neither attained liberation nor wealth. He thought to himself, I am left with nothing. I have to struggle every day just to get a little food for my family. Every day, I work hard, and only then do I manage to provide my family with 2 meals a day. Seeing his family's terrible condition, he could no longer bear it. He became deeply worried and extremely troubled. One day, he ran away from his home. As he walked along the road, he thought about where he would go and whom he could ask for help. Who would stand by him now? Then he remembered that he should go to Mahatma Buddha, for it was because of Buddha that he was in this situation today. Buddha was responsible for his condition. I was on the right path, continuously progressing in my business. But ever since I listened to his words, my mind became restless. I couldn't understand whether the life I was living was true, or the life he was living was the truth. I was misled by his sweet, soothing words, and I ruined everything I had. He is the one responsible for my condition, so I must go to him. Carrying anger in his heart, after a long 2-day journey, the man reached Mahatma Buddha and filled with rage said to Buddha, "O Buddha, you have no knowledge. Neither have you attained the truth. You only know how to deceive innocent people with your sweet and flattering words. You take advantage of people's simplicity to gain fame and praise. You show us dreams that can never come true. I too was a simple and innocent person, and I was the wealthiest man in my city. Before meeting you, everything was going well. I had no shortage of wealth. All the comforts and luxuries of life were mine. But ever since I listened to your teachings, I was so influenced by you that I began to follow your words and abandoned all those things that tied me to worldly life. In other words, I renounced all worldly desires. And now look, because of you, my entire family has become beggars. We live in a small hut, and we struggle daily just to get food to eat. Because of you, I am completely ruined." After hearing this, Mahatma Buddha calmly smiled and asked the man, "What exactly has happened to you, and what meaning did you derive from my words?" The man then explained everything to Mahatma Buddha. "You say that desiring wealth, longing, and lust are evil. You condemn worldly life, and yet you come into this world and beg for alms. You praise spiritual life, but I have one question. What do we gain from this spiritual life? What is the benefit? You said that spiritual life brings happiness, but ever since I embraced the spiritual path, I have only encountered sorrow. In fact, I have lost everything I once had. You mislead people with false promises of happiness and push them into darkness. Is this not the reality?" At this, Lord Buddha smiled and said to the man, "Son, you have come from far away. For now, take some rest. I will answer all your questions tonight." Initially, the man refused, but at Lord Buddha's insistence, he agreed and went to rest at the ashram. Later that night, Lord Buddha approached the man and said, "Son, I heard a story about a man who saw an elephant flying in the sky, flapping its wings as it soared through the air. He also claimed to have seen a big fish walking on land with its feet, and a dog breathing in the depths of the ocean." After saying this, Lord Buddha fell silent. Hearing this, the man asked, "O Tathagata, what happened next? Why did you stop speaking?" Lord Buddha, explaining to the man, asked, "Son, do you think such things can actually happen?" The man replied, "Buddha, if you are saying it, then it must be true, because you are such a great enlightened one. You have attained the ultimate truth, so every word from your mouth must be the truth." At this, Lord Buddha smiled and asked the man, "Son, have you ever seen something like this happen? Have you ever seen an elephant with wings flying swiftly through the air?" The man responded, "Tathagata, I have never seen anything like that." Then Lord Buddha said, "Why didn't you ask me how an elephant could fly in the sky?" The man replied, "O Tathagata, hearing it from you, I felt as though it must be the truth, and since you were saying it, I believed it to be true, which is why I didn't question you even once." At this, Lord Buddha explained to the man, "Never blindly accept what someone says. Instead, think for yourself. Reflect on how much truth there is in what the person is saying. Is it true? What is the person truly trying to convey? It's possible that they intend to say one thing, but you interpret it differently. At the very least, you should ask a question to understand what they really mean. If you had asked me how an elephant could fly in the sky, I would have given you an answer. I would have told you that a small child is playing with his toys, making the elephant fly in the air and making the dog drown in the water. As for the fish, the child is making it walk on land. Could that not be possible?" To this, the man replied, "Yes, of course, that could be possible." Then Lord Buddha said to the man, "In the same way, I never tell anyone to remain poor or destitute. Poverty can become a hindrance to your growth, preventing you from thinking or understanding anything else. Look at these monks. When they need food, they go out to beg. But where does this alms come from?" The man replied, "O Tathagata, everyone works hard every day to provide for their family, and in return for their hard work, they earn money. With that money, they buy food, and that is the food they offer to you as alms. And that is where the alms come from." Then Lord Buddha asked another question. "Son, that's true, but can you tell me where this wealth comes from?" The man answered, "O Tathagata, people earn and accumulate wealth by working." At this, Lord Buddha explained to him, "In the same way, if everyone in the world started begging for alms, where would the food come from? Who would grow the crops? Who would trade? And where would the wealth needed to protect people be gathered from? How would people's needs be fulfilled?" Hearing this, the man was a bit surprised and said to Lord Buddha, "But O Tathagata, you yourself say that human desires, lust, greed, and anger are all human flaws, and we should stay away from them. Only then can we be called enlightened." Lord Buddha replied, "Son, I am still saying the same thing, that one should stay away from all these things." The man interrupted Buddha and said, "O Tathagata, but the world runs on these things. How can the world function without them? Everyone needs money. Without money, how can one take care of their family? How can they provide for their family, bring food to the table? If they don't earn money, they will starve." Then Lord Buddha said, "Son, the world is not running because of these things. It is deteriorating because of them." The man responded, "O Tathagata, what are you trying to say? I don't understand your point. The world is full of desires, lust, and anger. When we give them up, we walk on the spiritual path, the path of liberation. That is, we become ascetics." To this, Lord Buddha replied, "Son, what you have said is also a great truth. By giving up desires, lust, and anger, we renounce the world and become ascetics. But even by giving up these things, we can still live in the world, earn wealth, gain respect, position, and honor, because we are only performing our duty. A farmer cultivates crops, but he can do so without negative emotions. A businessman conducts trade, moving goods from one place to another, and he can do this without harboring ill feelings. Similarly, a king protects his people without being driven by negative emotions. And even they can perform their duties without any negative emotions. A monk guides all these people to act properly and perform the right tasks, and that is the monk's duty, his work. And the person who, with awareness, fulfills their duties properly is truly the ascetic, the monk. Because whatever actions we are performing, they are merely a means for us to live in this world, to stay alive, to lead a life. Without them, we can achieve nothing. And while performing all our actions, our main goal is to awaken, to recognize and know ourselves. Once the light of knowledge has arisen within us, whatever we do, whether worldly or ascetic, it all becomes the same." Hearing this, the man said to Lord Buddha, "O Buddha, but I have seen that you accept into your order those who have left their families, those who have abandoned their parents, wives, and children. Do you ever tell them to go back and fulfill their responsibilities, to manage their duties, earn money, and seek enlightenment while staying there?" In response to the man's question, Lord Buddha said, "Can you make peace fly in the air?" The man replied, "No, I cannot." Then Lord Buddha explained, "Only a child can make an elephant fly in the air." Similarly, a person will always become what they are meant to be. If someone wants to be a king, they will become a king. If someone wants to be a businessman, they will become a businessman. In the same way, if someone wants to attain self-realization, they must renounce everything. Then Lord Buddha asked the man, "Son, would you move forward on the path to self-realization by leaving everything behind? Or were you thinking that by walking this path, life would become easier? That everything would turn out well, and I wouldn't have to do anything? That all my pain and suffering would come to an end, and miracles would start happening in my life, ultimately leading to liberation?" Hearing this from Lord Buddha, the man realized his mistake. He fell at the feet of Lord Buddha and said, "O Tathagata, you speak the truth. I thought just like that. Since my business was not going well, I felt that by leaving everything behind, I would find everything, and I wouldn't have to do anything. I thought all my suffering would end forever, and I would be able to attain self-realization." Then Lord Buddha said to the man, "Son, becoming a monk is not an easy task. It requires renunciation of everything. Each thing you hold dear will gradually be taken away from you. So, are you ready to become a monk? Do you wish to leave everything behind and move forward on the path of spirituality? In response, the man said, "O Tathagata, I have realized my mistake. I do not want to become a monk. I am fine as a businessman. I am comfortable in my worldly life. However, I still have one question remaining in my mind. If it is permissible, I would like to ask you that question." Lord Buddha granted him permission. The man then said, "O Tathagata, you say that one should not earn wealth, that prestige and ego lead us to suffering, and this is what the world consists of. If we are to live a worldly life, we must engage in all these things." Lord Buddha smiled and asked the man, "Are you hungry?" The man replied, "Yes, Tathagata, I am very hungry." Then Lord Buddha provided him with food. After feeding him to his fill, Lord Buddha said, "Here, eat, this is all for you." The man responded, "Tathagata, I have already eaten too much, I cannot eat any more. There is no space left in my stomach. If I eat any more, I will have a stomachache, and then I will face various troubles. I will be distressed." Then Lord Buddha, smiling, said to the man, "Son, this is exactly what I am trying to explain to you. Eat only as much as you need, earn only as much as is necessary for you. Because when anything exceeds its limit, it causes harm. Whether it is wealth, desire, greed, or craving, anything in excess will only lead to your detriment. And all of this will only bring you sorrow, therefore, it should be kept in control. We should have only as much as we need, and when you keep it in control, it will never cause you suffering, and you will always be happy." Lord Buddha said to the man, "Earning wealth is necessary because there should be no lack of money, no lack of food, and no lack of desire in your mind to do any work. But at the same time, you must also ensure that desire does not become excessive. I am trying to explain this to you. I am attempting to impart this knowledge. Stay in the middle, neither too little nor too much. Therefore, go and earn wealth, engage in trade, and with your actions, not only benefit yourself but also others. When you do good for people through your worldly deeds, there is no difference between you and a monk or a sage. The paths may differ, but the destination is the same, and you should never stray from the path. So associate with those who will lead you directly to self-realization, who will guide you from worldly life into a new existence. These people will help you fight against evils, give you strength, and you will continue to progress on the spiritual path without distraction." After saying this, Lord Buddha fell silent. The man bowed to Lord Buddha and said, "O Tathagata, your teachings are completely different. The meaning behind what you say is something else entirely. It is very straightforward and simple, yet we fail to understand it. You do not promise miracles, but you do offer the path through which I can certainly attain spirituality, which will benefit not just me, but everyone. O Tathagata, it was my mistake that I misinterpreted your words. Even as a merchant, I neglected my duties, thinking that everything would simply happen on its own and that all would be well. But the truth is that nothing happens on its own. When we put in effort, work hard, and take action, only then do we reap the rewards. When we stop trying, the current of life sweeps us away, leaving us with nothing. This is what happened to me as well. O Tathagata, from today onwards, I vow to perform my duties with complete honesty. I will follow the path you have shown me with full integrity. I promise to be a good merchant and a good person. I will continue to advance on the path of self-realization through my actions." After saying this, the man bowed to Lord Buddha and returned. Friends, something similar happens to us as well. When we listen to the words of a realized being, we feel that worldly life is futile and that everything we have earned and done until now is in vain. All matters of the world seem worthless. We should move towards the path of self-realization. That is the true way. However, we often fail to look within ourselves. We feel we need self-realization only when we are going through tough times and can't see a way out. When things are good in our lives, self-realization seems unimportant. Those who walk the path of self-realization remain unaffected by happiness or sorrow. They are not concerned about their business or the complexities of life. They simply continue joyfully on the path of self-realization, eventually reaching their destination. Friends, please share what you've learned from this video in the comments. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like it and share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. See you in the next video. Until then, take care. Thank you. Namo Buddha.